Thank you so much, Chairman Babin and Ranking Member Lofgren, for convening this very important hearing. I represent part of the research triangle, so there's nothing more important to my district than the scientific enterprise. I want to discuss the so-called gold standard science this administration is prioritizing. Everything's gold in this administration. There's just something odd about that. On May 23rd, 2025, President Trump issued Executive Order 14303 entitled Restoring Gold Standard Science, not silver, not bronze, not red, blue. The executive order directed your office to issue guidance for federal agencies on the implementation of, and I quote, gold standard science. It also directed agencies to submit their implementation plans to your office. And now, a year later, OMB has proposed a broad policy that would completely upend federal grant funding, which will further devastate the scientific community and be subject to the whims of political leadership. And we have seen this in North Carolina in devastating ways to both the scientific enterprise and to our economy. So as I said, I am proud to represent the Research Triangle. It's a major center for science and technology, home to some of the world's top research universities and institutions. And the Trump administration has severely disrupted our research and technology sector by restructuring critical agencies, firing experienced scientists, and cutting research funding, all in the haphazard pursuit of gold standard science. And all to the benefit of our competitors, specifically China, and specifically in the area of biotechnology. Sadly, what we've been hearing this morning has been confirming what we know. Gold standard is frequently gold-plated. And the victories that you're touting are merely cheap, shiny distractions concealing the nation's crumbling scientific infrastructure and the loss of the intellectual capability that we have to China, to Europe, to anybody who can fund their research. And scientific integrity is being violated every day across government. So I have a few questions for you in my 2 minutes left. The gold standard science guidelines say, quote, unbiased peer review is critical for generating trustworthy new knowledge that minimizes bias. Yet a month after OSTP released its guidance, the so-called Climate Working Group at the Department of Energy published a 151-page report that was written by 5 hand-picked climate deniers. This report underwent no independent peer review and was immediately debunked by the scientific community. But DOE has refused to retract the report and continues to stand by it. Have you evaluated the publication process that the Climate Working Group followed, and will you instruct DOE to retract the report as a violation of the gold standard science peer review requirements?
I have not, and I trust Secretary Wright in his judgment in putting together that panel and producing a report that was quite important.
Well, Secretary Wright was here, and let me tell you, didn't do a good job. The OSTP's gold standard science guidance is also supposed to uphold scientific integrity throughout the federal government. At the same time, OMB is working to finalize a policy that will explicitly empower political appointees to overrule merit-based scientific decisions. It's a travesty, and it's simply incompatible with any kind of commitment to robust scientific research. Director, how on earth can you claim to support gold standard science while the White House enacts a policy that will make a mockery of it? I believe that you actually are a serious scientist. You have great credentials. You have integrity. But this isn't being implemented in the way that you are saying it should be.
Thank you so much. I mean, I look forward to working closely with with OMB to ensure that that our enterprise continues to remain world-class and trustworthy and accountable.
Gentlewoman yields. I'd like to recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Franklin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Krassios, for being here with us today. I want to touch on gold standard science as well. Interesting segue. As we all know, the executive order will call for gold standard science that prioritizes transparency, rigorous scientific work, it's reproducibility of the science that's done, impartial federal science, clear communication of uncertainty, that we don't cherry pick certain results and disregard others, that there are appropriate disclosure conflicts of interest. We could spend an entire hearing on examples over the previous couple of administrations where that has not been taking place, and we can argue that on both sides of the aisle. I would hope that in this, what's typically a very bipartisan committee, we would all agree the needs for those things that are spelled out in the executive order. But could you comment a little for us? How is OSTP ensuring that scientific advisory processes and agency research products earn more public confidence and provide reliable evidence for policymakers?
Thank you for that question. I think we were very excited and very proud when the President signed the Gold Standard Science Executive Order. I think it was an important moment to kind of turn the page on some of the errors and the challenges that were faced in the previous administration. What the American people deserve and what the scientific community deserves is to have trust in the science that is produced and funded by the federal government. The core tenets in that executive order are ones that any scientist anywhere in the world cannot disagree with. That is just the way that you should be pursuing science. Things should be reproducible. Things should be transparent. They should be impartial. You should communicate uncertainty clearly. And these are things that everyone agrees with. So to us, I think we're excited to get that out, and I think it's something that our agencies have taken to heart, and they've each produced a set of implementation memos on how they're going forward to make sure that that is actually executed when they do science. So I'm very excited about the path ahead, and I think this is what the scientific community demands and should demand of the U.S. government.
Well, I appreciate that. And when we return from our August recess, I'll be introducing legislation to codify that. I would hope that that would receive bipartisan support because we all, both sides of the aisle, should be seriously about pursuing integrity in our science.
Well, if you need anyone to cheerlead it, I'm happy to make the rounds.
Roger that. Switching gears to AI, this week marks a year since the White House released America's AI Action Plan with more than 90 policy actions across innovation, infrastructure, and international leadership. 1 year into this, what do you see are the clearest signs that the plan is producing results?
I think the clear signs are we continue to lead the world in next generation AI frontier models. It's something that I think we're proud of as a country. I think we had this mythos moment, if you could imagine, that we're all very familiar with a few months ago. And I think there's lots of ways to think about it, but one view on it or easy way to think about it is that that was an American model made by an American company in America, and that shows that we continue to be sort of on the bleeding edge. Another big effort that I think we're very proud of is how we're continuing to accelerate the infrastructure build-out necessary for us to succeed in this AI world. The president was very forward-leaning in bringing together all of the AI companies and hyperscalers and getting them to agree to what is known as the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. And the president asked to them, and they signed on to this pledge, where they are committing to build, bring, or buy all their own power for next generation and new data centers. And why that's so important is we have to have the confidence of the American people when we build out all this infrastructure. And I think this pledge makes it clear to everyone that when a new data center is built, rates are not going to go up. And these are the types of actions the president takes, I think, which really instill the confidence necessary to keep leading ahead.